I've used 2 mats of paper which I'm going to put onto my side panels. They're 3x3. If you've got some paper that's got some foliage or flowers as this has on it and it goes with your colours, use that. If not, if you haven't got anything you can use, just stamp the panels. You've already inked them anyway, so just stamp the panels with your foliage as I'm stamping these, and straight onto your panels. I'm using Adirondack bottle to ink that up. As you can see, I've got the old containers which are absolutely horrible on the edge of my mat. I always use an old mouse mat if I'm using stamps that haven't got the foam on the back. I only want a light image. That's not come out terribly well actually, but it won't matter because I want to put I find them very, very flat too. That's the only thing. I'm sure the new ones are fantastic. They've obviously addressed the problem with these containers, and also you get it all over your hands, so I will have to get round to getting the new ones. So we're going to stamp the foliage on both sheets, and then use my stamper clean. So once you've stamped your image with the bottle green Adirondack, the image of the ivy, trailing ivy, then we're going to put this one on. That's this one, and use that one. I'm going to use, I'll put a list of the stamps I've used anyway. I'll look them up and put a list on so that you know. And I'm going to just stamp that on there just to bring some foliage into it. I've done that with the green. I picked up the green instead of the brown. If you want a bit of a contrast between the two, you can put a little bit of green on it as well, and that will give you mixed. I only want a very light look, which is what I'm after. Let's put another one on there. Layer it up. So a softer one at the back, darker one at the front. Ink your stamp, then lightly take some ink off, then stamp. You'll get a faint image, and then you can stamp the next one. This is what happened with the old packaging. It went everywhere and it was all over your hands, as you can see, as I said. So then your next one you ink up properly, and that becomes, because it's so sharp and it's so dark, it looks as if it's forward of the other one. So that's a bit of a tip if you haven't done that before. State of me, I shall be green. I'll look like the hobgoblin today when I go to work. So I've put the panels, 2 panels on the sides there. I'm going to put a little pearl on the handle of the door. Then I'm going to just put some stickles on I'm going to use diamond because that's got a browny tinge to it, brown and greens, rather than the other one which I've got is crystal, which is more pinks and greens, and I want to put that on the ivy. We want it to look sort of fairy tale-y, sparkly, so I'm going to fill all the ivy. I'll come back to you. So when you finish the stickles, I've got some liquid pearls here, which I'm just going to pop on the flowers. Just sort of 1 or 2 dabs, like the sort of centre. And you just play around with that. So you do that, and then what I'm going to do then is put some diamond glaze on those pebbles and then leave it all to dry. The next stage to making our box, I've stamped this fairy on one of the pieces of card we cut out from making the centre, and you need to do it so you leave a nice space underneath, because what we're going to do is make a tab underneath and we're going to take it under that bottom flap so that the fairy stands proud. So whatever you stamped and you've got your piece that you left underneath, just measure 1/2 inch underneath, take it from the base of the stamp, whatever is the base that you're using, and make a 1/2 inch tab. My tab is around about 1.5 inches, so that will be plenty, and then cut that out, and you can cut that extra piece off as well then, and then we can go on and take it into our base. So on the base, at some point, wherever you want this fairy, bear in mind that it mustn't go past any edge of it, or the widest edge of it mustn't go past the edge of your paper, because you obviously want it inside the box. So be careful on that aspect. So I'm going to put mine around about there, and just make the mark each side of your tab, and then we're going to make a little slit. Turn that off. Lost my knife. I'm always losing things. Terrible. If you watch my videos, you know I'm always losing everything. Right, so just cut that little 1/2 inch there. Make sure it comes the full length, otherwise you won't be able to slip that tab in. Get your scoring tool and just score, sorry I'm out of camera, at the bottom of your image, score along so that you can bend it there, and that's what we want. So you might find you need to make your slit slightly bigger. Just do a little bit at a time so you don't make it massive, and then eventually you can slip that in so then your fairy will sit up there, and that will be 3D.